Don't look now, but the Chicago Cubs offense is off and running. Let's talk about it right after the intro. Happy Saturday to each and every last one of you. Hope you guys are enjoying your time here this beautiful Saturday, whether that's at work, whether that's at home, whether that's out doing something, whether that's you're going headed to the Cubs game tonight in Milwaukee. Whatever the case may be, I appreciate you all for tuning in to Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. And y'all, listen, let me tell y'all something. This right here was nothing short last night of a straight up beat down. The Chicago Cubs offense pounded and took full advantage of the Milwaukee Brewers. Milwaukee had some young pitchers out there pitching, and yeah, it just was not a good outing for the Milwaukee Brewers pitchers. This allowed Ben Brown to be able to look dominant as we know he can look. He went 6 innings. Obviously, got his third win of the season. And yeah, did not give up a single run. The Chicago Cubs defense, none of the pitchers gave up a single run in this game. That right there is dominant. There's a few parts of this that I want to talk about that, and a few players that I want to highlight within this. But yeah, the overall arc of today's show is literal dominance from the Chicago Cubs. We looked dominant. We looked like we are head and shoulders above the competition, and our bats proved it. But not just our bats, but special bats. That's right. You had Michael Busch come up and hit a grand slam, oppo home run, looked beautiful straight off the bat. And it just sailed right over into the Brewers bullpen. And I loved every moment of watching that. And then, of course, you cannot forget Pete Crow-Armstrong. That's right, PCA. Now, I tweeted last night. There's been a lot of talk about the center fielder that plays for the Chicago White Sox, Luis Robert Jr. And a lot of people want to talk about how great he is and everything that he does and whatnot. And the White Sox are holding on to one glimmer of hope, one shining bright spot, which is Luis Robert Jr., which Luis Robert Jr. is cool. He is a good baseball player. He's good at center field. I'm not taking anything away from him. But for my money, I'm thinking Pete Crow-Armstrong is 10 times better than Luis Robert Jr. And I dare anybody to tell me why Luis Robert Jr. should be put above PCA. To me, when you look at what PCA is putting together, the type of season that he's having, all the different attributes and things that he's bringing to this team, as well as just his at-bats looking really, really smooth. His swing rate is going down. His chase rate's going down. He's only swinging at the good stuff. He's able to even dig out home runs. I mean, his flash across the bases, like I said, and then of course his defense is top notch. The type of plays and the amount of ground that he's able to cover. Like I said, I mean, you can talk about Luis Robert Jr. all you want to, but to me, Pete Crow-Armstrong is the man when it comes to center field in Chicago. Everybody is talking about PCA. Everybody is talking about what PCA is doing and able to do. I wish that Sports Center was today like it was back when I was in high school and in junior high in the early 2000s, and it was almost like you always wanted to be a part of that highlight reel and stuff like that, because Pete Crow-Armstrong throughout the baseball season would pretty much make it on Sports Center almost every night. There is at least one catch, one play that he makes per night that makes you go, wow, I can't believe he caught that. Or wow, I can't believe he did that. Or wow, I can't believe that he made that type of play. And that just goes to show you how marketable this guy is and how box office he is. Pete Crow-Armstrong, guys, is on the verge of becoming another superstar in this league. And listen, I made on the old channel before the season started. I did a video and I talked about PCA and I talked about the potential of PCA being a superstar and being in the MVP conversation for this season. And a lot of people looked at me and a lot of people commented on that video and they were like, "You're crazy. Like, there's no way." But you guys don't understand is that what PCA is putting together this season, if he can stay healthy, he is putting together a season that will rank up there with one of the best this year. Now, I'm not saying that he'll be able to win the MVP award. I'm just telling you that PCA is one of those guys that can, but that's putting together one hell of a season and could legit be considered for the MVP conversation if he continues down this road. Now, again, he's going to have slumps, like I said, but PCA is finding his way this season, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. I tweeted out that my hope and my thoughts are I hope Matt Shaw can find some semblance of success just like PCA is. My hope is that, even though the Cubs sent him back down this season, I do assume he'll be back up eventually this season. But even though the Cubs sent him down this season, my thought and my hope is that Matt Shaw finds his way in the coming seasons as PCA has found his way this season. I just think that Matt Shaw has so much to offer in this league, so much that he can accomplish yet and still. But again, it just all depends on um his maturation and his growth. Again, he's back down in the minors in AAA, and he's doing well. Like I said, he's doing well. But again, he's still got to work on that swing a little bit. He's got to work on his swing rate, his chase rate, things like that, and just get better. And it all comes with being a pro, and playing in the majors. Like I said, PCA got sent back down too because he had to figure some things out. Kyle Tucker got sent back down because he had to figure some things out at one point or another in the Houston Astros organization. So this isn't something that is going to be damning to Matt Shaw for a long time. But at the same time, I just really hope he can find that same success that PCA is having this year. PCA, for all intents and purposes, should be an all-star this season. Also, I expect PCA, Seiya Suzuki, and Kyle Tucker to all be all-stars this season. It's going to be tough for Michael Busch to make it in, and it might be tough for Dansby Swanson or Nico Horner to make it in because there are some really good shortstops and second baseman in the NL. So, like I said, but I mean at the same time, if all these guys keep playing how they're playing, you just never know what could happen again. Like I said, we're only in month 2 of the season. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. But Michael Busch really came through in this game. Like I said, he had one hit. The one hit was the grand slam that really put this game out of reach. That grand slam iced this game. And then, of course, PCA hit 2 home runs. He now has 8 home runs on the season, one behind Seiya Suzuki, who has 9 home runs on the season so far. So the Chicago Cubs bats, man, are just doing what they're supposed to do. I do suspect that Kyle Tucker will hit 2 home runs before this series is up. Like I said, to catch up with those guys, I do not suspect that he will struggle. And yeah, man, Chicago Cubs are just figuring it out. And it's a beautiful time to see this happening, especially with the Mets coming up, with the Giants coming up. And of course, like I said, we still got 2 more against not against the Dodgers. We're done with the Dodgers. We got 2 more against the Brewers. We play the Brewers again tonight. And then, of course, on Sunday. So tonight for the Chicago Cubs versus Brewers game, it is Jameson Taillon versus Jose Quintana. Now, Jose Quintana, literally, y'all, is 4-0 with a 1.14 ERA. So hits and home runs may not be as crazy as they were in yesterday's game. So the Chicago Cubs are going to have to play smart, going to have to play tough, and take the hits where they can get them and capitalize on this. But Jose Quintana is having a great season so far for the Milwaukee Brewers. So, the Chicago Cubs improved to 20-13 on the year. Milwaukee falls to 16-17 on the year. Like I said, the Chicago Cubs just beat the holy hell out of them with the bats in this game. And like I said, it's really good to see. And it was great for Ben Brown. I think it was great for Ben Brown's confidence. I think it was great for Ben Brown's psyche, especially after his last outing did not go well. And Craig addressed how it did not go well, how Ben has to be better. And we all agree Ben does have to be better. And tonight he came through and he was better. But it also helps when you get, 2 runs in the first, six in the second, like I said, and then you go from there and you're able to cruise. So you're able to go on the attack and you're able, to attack these hitters and attack the strike zone, and throw your stuff because you have such a sizable lead, that you're not worried about giving up a one-shot home run or anything like that. But Ben Brown really took full advantage of this and shut the Brewers down. Let's hope the Chicago Cubs can do the same tonight. Like I said, it's Jose Quintana on the mound, Jameson Taillon on the mound for the Cubs. Let's hope the Chicago Cubs can have this same success tonight's game. Tonight's game starts. First pitch is at 6:10 p.m. So let's hope the Chicago Cubs can find this same success this game. So the question of the day is, who had the most impressive game last night? PCA, Michael Busch, or Ben Brown, or other? So tell me in the comments below who you think had the most impressive game. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's all I have for you. Again, hope the Chicago Cubs can close out this series and win this series. And just like I said, continue to make a statement that the Chicago Cubs are not to be trifled with this season. And this ain't just a mirage or a 1 month thing, but like we are legit serious. So yeah, go ahead and leave a comment below. Also, you can call in and leave a voicemail at 217-816-5498, or you can write me at cubsbaseball1992@gmail.com. Listen, guys, I appreciate you all. Let's continue to whoop the Brewers' ass. And yeah, go Cubs, go. Until next time, peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.